I met Dizzy at a place called the Rockland Palace. The Rockland Palace was an emporium which was owned by a religious figure in Harlem by the name of Father Divine. They had functions and dances and musical shows and everything. I was playing. I forgot what the situation was. See, I like to say was instead of was. I used to say was, but I'm trying to be erudite now, so I'm saying was, okay? First time Dizzy and I was playing, I was playing the great Dizzy Gillespie, and Dizzy made a joke about my shoes or something, so that was my first introduction to Dizzy Gillespie. But of course, he's a huge demigod, to me then and always. He's great. And when he, as I mentioned before with Don Byes, those records, that's when Dizzy was first coming out. People were getting to hear about Dizzy Gillespie. And those were some of his early records, maybe before he played with Charlie Parker, I'm not sure. He was always an exciting, inspirational figure to all of us. I had his pictures in my scrapbook. Scrapbook, I had that Don Byes picture in, and others. I remember that picture when he was sort of smiling and he was laughing, he had his horn. And Dizzy's sort of a humorous type of personality, which was good because the music needed to be popularized a little bit by the convention of the day, which was to be more amiable and friendly to the outside world, as a jazz musician. Say, like the image that Louis Armstrong had projected. And so Dizzy having that kind of personality was good. It was very good for the bebop movement, which was taking hold. In those days, Dizzy was playing, this stuff he was playing was fantastic. Some close friends of mine, also music aficionados, they were talking, these guys lived and died music. They knew all about everybody, every note anybody played. And so there was a discussion outside of Minton's Playhouse, since you mentioned Minton's. And they were talking about Fats Navarro, who was a great, great trumpet player. Great. And so guys are saying, oh man, Fats is better than Dizzy, man. Fats is, wow, boy, I heard Fats play. So Fats said, no man, he said, Dizzy Gillespie is the guy. Sometimes it's not so much, this is a difficult concept when you're just a listener. You're listening, you want to hear, oh wow, listen about that. But sometimes it's the whole gravitas involved in the person. It's not just what he's playing, it's what he's playing first, but it's also who he is, how much he inspires everybody to play. That comes in there. This is a very argumentative point because I don't think we have time to go into that. This will be another session, but I always believe that there is something else besides. In other words, if you go to see a guy, Coleman Hawkins, for instance, and he may say, oh, gee, he didn't sound that good. Well, he didn't have to sound that good that particular night. What he did made everything else sound good. He was bigger than his solo that night, or his performance that night. Now, being a performer myself, this might sound like I'm trying to give myself a break here, but it's nevertheless, if you agree or you don't agree, but that's my feeling. It has nothing to do with me. I just feel that people like that have done so much to make the whole music world revolve, to just put them and say, oh gee, I like Fats Navarro. Wow, I heard him play something great that night. Boy, he sounded better than this. You see, to me, that's not the whole story. But, that's argumentative. People can argue that point, and we can at another time.
The recording the three of you did in 1957 together was a landmark. Do you remember that session?
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for that. Well, I can't thank you. It wasn't me. It was Dizzy's. Norman Granz was the producer of that record. And Norman Granz, being in this business, you get pro this guy or anti this guy, or anybody concerned with the business he's going to have supporters or denouncers, okay? So I've heard people denounce Norman Granz all the time. Not me, I like Norman Granz a lot. And Norman Granz, well, he liked me a lot, so maybe that's why I liked him. But no, I don't think so. I liked what the first thing, Jazz and Philharmonic. I don't care what to present Jazz and Philharmonic. The whole thing was just gave guys a chance to a good venue for what I mean, nobody's perfect. Oscar Peterson named his son Norman after Norman Granz. You know that? Yeah, so you know how closely he must have felt to him. And, but anyway, back to this session. So Norman Granz was there. So yeah, it was okay. I mean, I'm never satisfied with my own work, so I'm not can't jump up and down about it. But there were some interesting things on there.
Yeah. Some people say that on that session, Sonny Stitt inspired you to play better. That in a situation where you are with another sax player like that, both of you play in a different kind of way. And you also made a recording, kind of happened by accident, called Tenor Madness, where you and John played together. But you really haven't, in your discography, correct me if I'm wrong, played with other sax players like that. Why is that?
Because I'm afraid of getting beat up. What do you think of him? A dope?
Well, I heard you in a concert in the 70s, late 70s at Town Hall with Grover Washington Jr.
Oh, you remember that?
That was a great concert. Of course, you played very well, but I thought played better than I'd ever heard him play that night. I mean, he was just...
You played better than me, right?
No.
See,
there's no better
that's why I don't have to do a play with other people, see? No, that's great. The one thing about that concert with Grover is that we didn't play together. And that's the one... Did we play together?
Yeah.
We did?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, that's great. I thought we didn't play together because... Grover is a beautiful, he's just a great, gifted musician. Grover really has that common touch with people relate to. He's got it. And he's a great player, and as well as being a beautiful human being, which means to me a great deal also. But as a musician, he was really, he had that thing which, you know, enormously successful. But one thing about Grover, he always wanted to play more jazz. You know, what he was playing was sort of funk or whatever you might call it, which he was naturally just gifted at. But he wanted to be more jazz. Every time I'd see Grover, he'd say, "Oh, Sonny, did you hear that record? How did that sound? Did they have?" He always wanted to emphasize his jazz chops, you know. But anyway, yeah, he's one of my favorite musicians and human beings. He's a beautiful person.